Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid-May 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for our beautiful Taurus friends in early to mid-May? It is Taurus season, a lovely time of year. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? Yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus in early to mid-May. What's the vibe? What's the energy? And while we get this card out, I want to once again wish you all a very happy birthday from me to you. Whether it's already passed, whether it's still coming up, I really hope you have a great one, my good friends. All right, nice card here. It's a little polarizing as we get into this reading. We see this lady chilling in a room surrounded by all these mirrors, and there's something about it that is nice. There's a good magnetism. There's like a good attractiveness to it. But at the same time, there's a side where I'm like, oh, that might be a little too much. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the May subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as mentioned, we have this lady with that big blue dress with the wig. She's looking in the mirror, kind of primping herself up, all the mirrors surrounding the room. The good thing about this card could represent confidence, and it could also represent aesthetics. So for some Tauruses, maybe you're thinking about how you present yourself to the world, how you're perceived. You might be changing something about your look. Not a bad thing, right? Like there's never anything wrong with confidence, but sometimes there can be a line between confidence and ego, right? Now, I'm not saying that's definitely the case, but when I see this card, it can, especially if you have dealings with anyone that has a bit of an inflated ego, this card can absolutely be it. I don't want to say it's like self-obsessed or anything like that, but I feel like in the positive sense, there's like a nice balanced confidence to this card and something dealing with the aesthetics. But this can absolutely represent somebody that's like only focused on themselves, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with that, depending on what's going on in your journey. If you're like, hey, I'm focusing on me and doing what I got to do and doing what's right for myself, that's great. But you know how those energies can slide, right? So just watch out, especially if there's anyone around that has a very big heightened ego. So we're going to let her chill right there. She's looking in the mirror. Let's get into tarot. Again, it could be very confident. It could be like a very attractive, magnetic energy too. Let's see what tarot has. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for my Taurus friends. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was a peculiar one that I don't normally see for the Taurus Collective. The reading was titled "They Are Gossiping," and the reason it was titled that is because I saw a lot of people doing a lot of talking. So again, just know that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks. Watch who and what information you're sharing to any specific people, because it felt like, the game of telephone where it's like you tell one person this, and by the time it gets to the third person, it's like a totally different story. I was picking up vibes like that. So we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for my Taurus friends. What's happening in early to mid-May, please? Temperance, cool. Calm, chill. Even though this is the Saggy card, I do link this chill aspect to most Tauruses. I like Temperance. It's beautiful. It's angelic. Could be a lot of great things. Now, the one thing I will say, I usually like an action card in the first spot. This one's not doing too much on the surface. So let's see what else wants to pop out. Okay. 7 of Swords in the center. Yeah, this could be like a wait and see type of energy. We're going to have to see what's up with that for sure. I always keep my eye on the 7 of Swords. And again, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? We're going to be like the Temperance card and just let everything flow how it needs to. Okay, yeah, so 2 cards pop out together. We got the Hierophant, which is one of your big power cards. So we're going to place that right here. Interesting how like this energy is insulating the other. And then we have the death card. Don't get freaked out about that. That's more about shifting and changing energy, right? It's like a phoenix rising. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like they frame the reading and tell us how the energy is going to flow. And we pretty much have every single element out here, which I think is the perfect set of balance. Like even these two energies on the back balance each other off. But we have fire, air, earth, water. Beautiful. And then we have the Taurus, Scorpio axis right here on the back. Those are yin yang type of energies. So I'm initially liking what I'm seeing. Now, when it comes to the fire, even though this is a very chill card, the element itself is all about action. So the actions we take, the actions we want to take, the actions other people take, right? It could also be energy levels, vitality. So whether you're conserving energy, whether you're relaxing and building up energy, maybe you're feeling a little more heightened energetically. I tie fire into health and vitality. The downside with fire is that it can be very unpredictable, where it looks like it's doing this and then it goes left on you. So there's an explosive quality. In the center, we have swords, aka air. And air is about strategy planning. It's a very logical, pragmatic type of energy. It could be about giving information or receiving it. So, like diving down information rabbit holes, big when it comes to communication. Um, the downside to the swords is sometimes it could be over planning. Sometimes it could be overthinking on a specific topic. Swords can also be a little cold and detached, so it's not really warm and fuzzy. And right here on the back end, we have Earth, your power element, your comfort zone. It represents stability and security, internal or external. It could be routine, day to day life, whether you have a strict one or whether you don't. Work, money, business, finance, home, and family. These are all things that fall under the earth umbrella. So, the earth that we live in. The downside to earth is sometimes it could be a little too set in its ways, right? So, with like the Hierophant and the earth, and then this, like there's this energy that's like boom, it's like putting its fists down. Here on the back, we do have the water. That's the emotional realm, and that kind of rounds us off elementally. Water is the realm of the heart, emotions, things, or people that we emotionally are invested in. The downside to water is that it can be overwhelming. So let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with Temperance. Beautiful card, highly spiritual energies here, especially in the main part of the spread. But Temperance is Sagittarius energy. Maybe you have a Saggy placement, maybe you're connected to one. But we see the Archangel Michael here. Beautiful, the defender, the protector. So when I see this angelic energy, the first place my mind always goes is spiritual protection, spiritual insulation. So if you're going through a difficult one, or even if you're not, like the energy feels protected, like spirit is with you. And that's something I really, really love. But what are some things we could talk about with temperance? It represents patience, it represents caution. It's a very prudent type of energy where it's like think first, act later. So it's an energy that could digest things and really, really take its time. This energy could sometimes be curbing something where it's like if there's a habit that I don't like, I'm trying to quit this, I'm trying to quit that, I'm trying to not do this. It's a big card of self improvement. Now, the downside to temperance is that sometimes the energy could be a little too stuck. The energy is not taking much action. But one thing I can say about it is that although Michael's not doing anything physically, notice he's doing this little alchemy there with the cups, where it's like on the surface it looks like nothing's happening, but underneath the surface everything's happening. That's something I always link to with this card. Now, moving to the center, if any card in this I really want to keep a close eye on, it's the Seven of Swords. And we see this little dude here with the fez. He's making away with all the swords. And I'll say, in its most positive sense, the Seven of Swords could just represent the hidden, the unknown, something that's off our radar, something we don't know yet, something we haven't seen. So again, it's just shadowy. There's a little darkness to it. But the downside, there can be some big warnings with this card because it could represent untrustworthy individuals, untrustworthy situations. It could represent thieves and all kinds of wild stuff. So whenever I see this, I'm like, all right, we're going to pay attention to this. Now, luckily, it's surrounded by Temperance and the Hierophant. So these energies, I'm not sure if it's like protecting from that. There's like this force field potentially happening, and it's odd saying it like that, but being surrounded by those other cards, we're just gonna have to see how it all plays together. Now, moving to the back end, we have the Hierophant. Already mentioned it's one of your power cards, so in my simplistic style, it can tell something that's coming towards you or a way you might be feeling. But aside from that, the Hierophant is one of the most symbolically dense cards in the whole entire deck. So I'll just try to give you the cliff notes here. The Hierophant could represent institutions. So think of governments, religious institutions, religious practices, spirituality in general. This could represent tradition. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. This is how it always will be. This energy is not really thinking outside of the box. The Hierophant can also represent day to day life and routine, just like the suit itself. The Hierophant does have beautiful gifts when it comes to spiritual practice. So just know if you're being urged to pray and talk to spirit and do all this spiritual stuff, highly, highly favored. Um, but yeah, it's not the most inventive type of energy. Like there's a certain comfort zone that I always pick up with this Hierophant. It's great when it comes to long term things, long term relationships, long term connections, because the Hierophant, it keeps its word. Like what you see is what you get. The downside to it is that it's an energy that is so difficult to change, and it's an energy that's just so set in its ways. Then here on the back end, we have the Death card, Scorpio vibes. And I always say, don't get freaked out about it. I know they show this whenever there's a tarot reader in movies and on TV shows, like, oh, the death card, scary, scary, scary. To me, it does, yeah, it could represent endings, right? But the main vibe I always think of is change, metamorphosis. And it could be major sometimes, but to me, it's like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And remember, it's not part of the main spread, so I'm not concerned, especially since these two are on the same axis when it comes to the zodiac. It's like they balance each other off, like the change, the day to day, like these energies cancel out. So I want to dive deeper on all this, Taurus. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. All right, let's shuffle it up one time. And yeah, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on Temperance. Why is Temperance here? Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Taurus, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Temperance, what's happening? Why is Temperance here? Very, very planned out, strategic type of energy here. This energy is like leaving no stone unturned, and I kind of like it. All right, so we have the Queen of Swords in the upright. I was getting this off of like maybe Libra this week. It was a very similar vibe where it's like, think it, plan it, do it. There's like a strategy, there's an analysis, there's a watching and observing happening here. So the Queen of Swords, serious to the point. And I know I've been seeing this like serious type of energy floating around the Taurus energy recently. But again, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius is the main vibe. But queens represent the internal aspect of their suit. Remember what I was saying about these swords. So when I see Temperance with her looking towards the Seven of Swords, it's like I'm being very cautious. I'm being very careful. I'm leaving no stone unturned. So I do have this like watching, observing type of energy, but also the planning and strategy. It's just here. Where like with the Temperance and her, it's like I'm just going to sit back and take in information. I'm going to sit back and watch and absorb. I'm not going to do anything yet. So, this is absolutely an energy that thinks before it acts. Now, for some Tauruses, this could be an advice from spirit where it's like, hey, get in this mode first before you make any big shuffle, any big move. And I know Tauruses are generally very considerate individuals for the most part. But to me, it's an energy that is leaving no stone unturned, no topic off the table. It's like, I will know what I need to know. I will plan this right. So yeah, we got the watching, we got the planning right here on the front end. And I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing, but no stone unturned. That's like the best way. So it's like nothing is getting past me or nothing's going to get by me. So there might be certain things or situations that Spirit wants you to approach in a very thorough way before you make a big push or action. Let's move over to the Seven of Swords, because that's absolutely pulling me in. I want to see what this has to say. Is it a warning? Is it a good thing? Let's see what the Seven of Swords is doing for my Taurus friends in their birthday season. Okay. I'm very, very out of the blue. Very out of the blue. I don't necessarily dislike it. We're going to need to look further, because usually the Seven of Swords is either one of two things to me. It's either a conversation that comes up out of the blue, like a surprising, unexpected talk or message, where it's like, whoa, I wasn't expecting to speak about this, or whoa, I wasn't expecting to hear that. But there is also this energy, especially when I mix it with what we have here in the front, where I don't want to say it seems like an interrogation, but it's like someone is talking and I don't believe what they're saying. Where it's like there's someone talking and I'm not sure how I feel about what it is that this person's saying to me. So there's this really strong skepticism. Watch out for people like trying to convince or trying to over convince or over talk something. It's very unique here this week, very specific. So again, only take it if it hits for you. um, Eight of Wands, action, movement, right? Like again, so it could be action here with the Seven of Swords, whether it's someone acting differently or someone acting or making moves out of the blue. But to me, with Temperance and this Queen of Swords, it's like I have my eye on everything. Like I'm waiting for this energy. It's so unique here this week. But yeah, I would say the main two overall things is either I'm very skeptical about the story that somebody's telling me, or this is like a talk or a message that just comes out of the blue. That's our most optimistic, right? Where it's like, oh, all right, I wasn't expecting to talk to you, or I wasn't expecting to talk about that. But there's also like this big skepticism too. Yeah, where it's like, I don't know how I feel about what you're saying to me. Let's keep going. I don't want to say whether it's right or wrong, or whether it's true or false, but I know I'm skeptical about it. So watch out for those smooth talkers, my friends. Let's see what's up with the Hierophant. Let's see what the Hierophant has, then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. Very intriguing reading this week, my good friends. Super quick. Very buttoned up, refrained, restrained type of energy. So we have strength in the upright underneath this Hierophant, where it's like, oh, I'm not going to do anything quite yet. So notice, it's like this energy and this energy, they're containing this energy. So for some Tauruses, this could absolutely be a private matter, or there could be like a situation or a topic or something where it's like we're going to try to keep this between us, which is odd since last week I was seeing a very gossipy energy. Now I'm seeing the complete and total inverse, where it's like a little more secretive, where it's like, all right, we're going to refrain, we're going to contain this. It's going to be between me and you. We're going to keep this quiet. That's just how it feels to me. So again, you might be having a lot of private conversations. Maybe someone comes to you about something in confidence and says, hey, Taurus, can I talk to you about this? Can I tell you this? Can you keep a secret? It's like one of those. So watch out for the secretive vibes, especially with this in the center, because it does show up. But strength represents someone's character, who they are on the inside. Are they trustworthy? And remember, strength can also represent refraining, restraining, not acting immediately. So it's like similar to Temperance. So it's like we have these very buttoned up energies on the outsides trying to contain something very specifically. So again, whether it is a talk or conversation or a secret, to me, it's like we're going to contain this. We're just going to keep this here in the box. We're going to compartmentalize it, and it's going to stay there for now. That's hyper specific for whatever reason. I don't feel like it's a bad thing necessarily, but to me, it's just very private and very quiet. So, yeah, whereas last week I was seeing, like, hey, everyone's talking about something. This one is like, nope, we're keeping this like very quiet. So super unique. Let's go through and do a quick little recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. I know I was getting hyper specific again. Only take what hits for you. At the least, you might just have some interesting conversations, and you have a lot of beautiful spiritual protection. But position number one, we have Temperance with the Queen of Swords. We're leaving no stone unturned. Very smart and analytical. It's like watching and strategizing and taking in information before it does something, which I think is good. I think that's a good approach. In the center, we have the Seven of Swords with the Eight of Wands in the upright. This unexpected, surprising talk potentially, or someone might be saying something and you could be very unsure. Like, I don't know if I buy it. I'm not sure how I feel about this. That's the main thing. On the back end, we have the Hierophant, your power card with strength. So I do like this for you. That's a good workable energy. But the overall vibe is like all these energies are trying to contain this, like keep this quiet or keep. So there is like a secret type of energy as well. But I would watch out for that. Or at the very least, this is a very private matter where it's like this is just between us. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. Thank you. Nice and quick. Cool. Hey, we got our good friend, the King of Cups, aka Kyle of Cups himself, but he has a tentacle beard in this rendition. That's looking a little odd. Now, the good thing about the King of Cups, it is a complementary energy to Taurus, who represent Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio energy. Kings, especially the King of Cups, represents big feelings, big emotions, big expressions of love. It's normally like very emotionally intelligent and balanced. So I like it, especially with the contained energy we got in the main part of the spread. But let's talk about the difficult side. Sometimes the King of Cups, in its shadow sense, can represent emotions that we can't help but feel, emotions that are too strong for us to handle. We need some place to put them. So watch out for anyone that's like emotionally lashing out when I see this. I know what water element can do, and sometimes it could be extremely heavy. So that's something I would watch out for. I don't feel like this is someone using emotions against you or anything like that. It just feels intense. So just watch out for the intense emotional waves in this time. So we're going to put the King of Cups down right there, my good friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the May subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My May calendar is up and the spots go quick, so you might want to check it out. But for the May subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 lucky subscribers to win either a copy of the Tarot of the Owls, beautiful deck, and it's really nice, or 3 custom made pendants from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed, and second, let me know down in the comments, out of the cards that showed up in this week's reading, which one caught your attention most or resonated with you most. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in the posts tab. My friends, much love, and I'll talk to you soon.